Welcome back. We are moving on in this CSS series, and in this video we will be understanding the units of measurement. You see, there are times when you need to set a link for a CSS element. Now, CSS offers support for many units of measurement, including those for both on-screen and print. Some of these units are absolute or fixed length, while others are relative. I'm going to limit our discussion here to the foremost common types that you'll run across as you're learning CSS. First, we have pixels. Then we have ems, rems, and finally percentages. So pixels are referred to as an absolute value, and just like an inch takes up a physical amount of space, so does a pixel. With CSS, we can use pixels to define heights and widths for things like block level elements, padding, margin, font sizes, and here's a couple of examples of those things in action. Next, we have ems, and unlike pixels, these are considered relative values. They're relative to the font size of a parent element. So the name actually comes from print typography, and it roughly means the value of text at its default size. What does that mean? Well, let's say that we set our parent container to a 20 pixel font size. That would be equal to 1 em, 2 ems would be 40 pixels, and so on. From there, you could set your paragraphs to 1 em, maybe your headings to 3 em, and you could even use that em value for other properties like margin or padding. The cool thing about ems is that you can change the starting point of the parent element, and the overall size of em units will get bigger or as smaller as you've designated, but the relationship between those elements will stay exactly the same. Are we following? Next up, we have rems or root ems, which are very similar to ems in that they are also a relative value. But instead of being relative to the value of their parent element, they're relative to font size of the root element, which is the HTML element. And if the HTML element doesn't have a specified font size, the browser default value of 16 pixels is used. So 1 rem would be 16 pixels, 2 will be 32 pixels, like that. This gives you a little more predictable control than ems, since we're relative to the root versus relative to a parent container. Now, in the development and design communities, there's a lot of debate over which unit of measurement is best for font sizes, and ultimately, that's going to be up to you and your design. We still together, right? Finally, we have percentages, and these are great for responsive layout as they let containers expand or shrink based on the size of the parent element. And just a note here, percentages are typically used on block level elements and not used for font sizing. I'm just scratching the surface. There's really a lot more when it comes to working with these and other units of measurement. Just be aware that there are various options available to you when it comes to setting the link of elements in CSS. You good on this? Straight into understanding the cascading order in the next video. You can go back to the previous lectures for recap to refresh your brain. We are getting closer to the real deal. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to share and subscribe to our platform.